When you think about the start of World War II, what comes to mind? Probably the Blitzkrieg. Those shocking, rapid-fire German victories that just rolled over Poland and France and most of Europe. For a while, Germany looked absolutely unstoppable, like an invincible military machine. But what if I told you that, despite those early wins, Germany never really had a chance of winning the whole war? It sounds strange, but most historians today agree a long-term German victory was pretty much impossible. Winning a local battle is one thing. Winning a global war is something else entirely. It takes more than just good tanks. It takes resources. It takes strategy. And it takes the ability to outlast your enemies. And on all those fronts, Germany was set up to fail. Today, we're going to look at the real reasons why Hitler's Germany couldn't win. Let's start with the single biggest, most catastrophic mistake: fighting a war on two fronts. In 1941, Germany was already in a deep, difficult fight with Great Britain. But Hitler got impatient. He made the fateful decision to turn east and invade the Soviet Union. This was a disaster. It instantly split Germany's armies, its resources, and its already strained supply lines. And they completely, totally underestimated the Soviets. Hitler and his generals thought the Soviet Union would just collapse in a few months, like France did. But they forgot one huge thing. Russia is enormous. The Soviets had an almost endless supply of people. They had a brutal winter. And they did something strategically brilliant. They just retreated. They fell back, pulling the German army deeper and deeper into Russia, stretching their supply lines until they snapped. And while they retreated, they physically moved their factories, their entire industrial base, east, far away from the German bombers, where they could keep building tanks and planes. The Eastern Front became a meat grinder. It just bled Germany's best divisions, dry, consuming men, fuel, and equipment that they could never, ever replace. But even if Germany hadn't invaded Russia, they had another, even bigger problem. It's the one that isn't as exciting as tank battles, but it's what really wins modern wars: economics and industry. Think about it. Germany was just one country. The Allies? That was the entire British Empire, the Soviet Union, and the real giant, the United States. When Hitler declared war on the US in December of 1941, just days after Pearl Harbor, that was probably the moment the war was really over, even if it took 4 more years to finish. Why? Because the United States was an economic superpower, unlike anything the world had ever seen. The arsenal of democracy, as it was called, just started churning out ships, planes, tanks, and bullets at a rate that was impossible to compete with. Germany simply couldn't keep up. For every 1 tank they lost, the Allies could build 10. For every plane they lost, the Allies built 20. Germany's factories were being bombed around the clock by the Allied air forces, while America's factories were safe, an ocean away. This was a war of production, a war of attrition, and Germany was losing it badly. And that leads to the final point. Germany was not only fighting the world, it was also fighting itself. The entire Nazi regime was built on a foundation of fanaticism and terrible leadership. Hitler wasn't a strategic genius. He was a fanatic. He constantly overruled his experienced generals, ordering them to do the impossible. He would demand that armies stand and fight to the last man instead of allowing a smart, tactical retreat. This is what happened at Stalingrad, where an entire German army was needlessly sacrificed because Hitler wouldn't let them pull back. And the regime's own twisted ideology was a massive drain. Think about the Holocaust. Beyond being one of the worst atrocities in human history, it was also a massive logistical nightmare for Germany. It used up trains that could have been moving supplies to the front. It used up soldiers and resources to murder millions of people, including scientists, workers, and soldiers who could have otherwise been part of the war effort. Their own hatred and fanaticism made them weaker. While Germany was focused on this, the Allies were winning the real tech war. Germany had V-2 rockets, sure, but the Allies had better radar, better sonar to hunt the German U-boats, and, most importantly, they had cracked Germany's secret Enigma codes. They knew what the Germans were planning, often before the German generals did. So, when you add it all up, the picture is pretty clear. Germany was fighting a two-front war it couldn't win, against an industrial powerhouse that could outproduce it, 10-1, all while being led by a fanatical, irrational leader who made one disastrous decision after another. The early victories were shocking, but they weren't sustainable. Germany didn't have the resources, the logistics, or the leadership to win a long global war. Their defeat wasn't just a possibility, it was inevitable. To read daily fact-based articles, head over to www.that.are and don't forget to visit our Zentara blog YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe or follow this podcast on Spotify for daily episodes that will expand your minds.